If you're feeling like your house is cluttered or even a tad overwhelming, here's a list of 17 things that might be the culprits for making your home look and feel cluttered. As we always say here on our channel, clutter is anything you don't love, need, or use. So what looks like clutter to one person might look completely different to someone else. With that in mind, we're never going to tell you to get rid of anything you don't want to. Decluttering is personal, and your home should feel like your home. However, clutter does have a way of creeping in, and being surrounded by things you don't actually love, need, or use day after day does have a toll on our finances, free time, peace of mind, and likelihood of not tripping as we search for lost keys. So here we go. Here's our list of 17 things that might be making your home feel cluttered.
First up, electronic cords and cables. The visual mess from cables and cords really has a negative impact on a room. Not to mention the accidents that happen every day from untidy cables being a major hazard in the home. No one likes the look of messy, crazy cables noodling out and cluttering up a space. So use zip ties and cable management trays to tidy up cords and your home will instantly look more put together. It'll be safer and feel way less cluttered.
Next, items on kitchen counters. I'm an avid home cook, so I do know the appeal of having things easy to reach and access in the kitchen. But there's no denying that a clear kitchen counter makes a home feel tidier and like the home can breathe a little easier. It also makes preparing food and having loved ones over much easier because there's space to move and prepare food and drinks without needing to shove things aside. I always feel a little more on top of life once the end of the night rolls around and the kitchen is clean and tidy and there's nothing on the countertops. Obviously, the kitchen is the heart of the home and there will be some things that you reach for every day that might even be heavy. So leaving them out in a dedicated space does make sense. So do what feels good to you. I'm definitely not saying put away toasters, that would be a hassle. But identify and know what items you love having out for convenience, and anything that doesn't belong can be put away for a nice clear counter and uncluttered space.
The next item on our list is anything without a home. This can be so many things, but basically it's anything that isn't where it's supposed to be. Things out of place make a home feel cluttered and like something isn't quite as it's supposed to be. A stray backpack on the sofa, a pair of jeans in the study, a stack of Pokemon cards in the fridge. If it's not where it's supposed to be, if it's not in its own home, then it can make your house feel even more cluttered than it actually is. So pop those things away in their home, their dedicated space, and your home will instantly feel and look more put together and less cluttered.
Fourth, too much home decor. Random home decor like trendy things with dust collecting surfaces that don't really serve a purpose can actually make your home kind of feel cluttered. Obviously, this completely depends on your taste, and decor can serve an important aesthetic purpose, but it's when there's too much that it becomes clutter. Your too much might be different from my too much, and that's totally okay. You'll be the best judge of your own home to know if certain home decor finds, especially ones that have been there for a while and kind of blend into the background, are loved by you and appreciated for their beauty, or if they're actually clutter. So maybe take a look around you if you're feeling like your home needs a bit of a refresh, and search for anything in the home decor category, like big vases or trendy orb things. Do I love it enough to dust it for the rest of its life in my home? If the answer is no, then toss it. It'll push you forward to a less cluttered, more intentional home that suits your style and is purposeful in its aesthetic.
Closely tied to our last item, your home might feel more cluttered if you still have items left out from uncompleted home projects. Things like drills and nails left out on the dining room table for that pantry shelf you started but then got distracted and now keep putting off fixing for the past 3 weeks. Things left out like this have a way of nagging us. They're a constant reminder of what we haven't done or started to do, then did so poorly that we left it out in the hopes your partner will come and fix it with you instead. These items are the annoying things on our to-do list, but when you leave them out for so long, they start blending into the everyday scenery of your living room, like ours has. They become clutter. Visual clutter because they don't belong there, but more than anything, these are items that contribute largely to mental clutter. So if you know you really just don't have time to get around to that home project, just put the tools away and instead schedule a date in your calendar for when you will get to it. We're still working on this one ourselves, and we won't pretend to be perfect with this. We're in an ever constant state of needing to fix or do something. But we've noticed that the longer we leave something half done with the items left out, reminds us of the thing that we haven't done. So this is its own kind of clutter, very relevant to our household, and it might serve as inspiration for your own too, if you're like us and have a big list of home or backyard projects to do.
Next up, loose papers. This is a big one that can contribute to your home looking more cluttered. Loose papers are annoying. They make it impossible to find exactly what you need when you need it. So have a spot for loose papers. A folder works great, and only keep the most important. I've actually made it a habit that when we get anything important, like a document from the vet or medical papers, to take a photo of it with my phone right away. So it's far easier to just search within my phone for keywords and find the document instantly.
Number 7 on our list, we've got mail. Pretty similar to our last point, paper makes things look cluttered and messy. This is especially true for mail. It usually has a way of gathering in entryways and hall stands and is a constant reminder that you have some sort of obligation to respond to or follow someone up. So have a dedicated space, preferably in a drawer so it's out of sight, because like the loose papers thing, it really does make a space feel cluttered. We've made it a rule that any junk mail goes straight into the recycling. We actually used to spend hours going through catalogs, browsing junk mail items just for the fun of it, even though it's actually quite boring seeing a heap of garish ads in all their vibrantly coloured splashiness. We knew it wasn't a good use of our time, but we did it when we wanted to fill our time doing something mindless, or if we were procrastinating on doing something more important. All of that's changed though, as we've grown more intentional over the years and come to realise how we were spending our time in the greater scheme of things wasn't actually lining up with our wider life priorities. So now we always just toss the junk mail away, and there's no chance for it to accumulate. We save ourselves the visual and mental clutter, and we've freed up valuable time. So create simple guidelines for yourself like this that match up with what you want from your own life, and reduce clutter like mail where you can. Just like the loose papers, if there's anything important, we always take a photo of it and schedule something in our calendar for when we'll definitely get around to responding to it. It takes all the thought and needing to remember out of the equation and simplifies a great deal of things we'd otherwise forget about in the shuffle of life.
Next on our list of things that might be making your home look or feel cluttered, magnets. I'm someone who used to love magnets. I'd gather them wherever I went and display them on my fridge. But once we moved houses a few times and I needed to keep moving them with us, I really started to think about if they were actually providing me value. They were there all the time, and after a while they all just started to blend into the background to the point where I never even thought about them or even noticed they were there. That's the point at which I realized I was actually just holding on to them out of a habit I built when I was newly 18 and could start spending money on things. I also had so many random ones from my friends that had traveled around the globe to places I'd never been that I honestly didn't even notice anymore. Some from people I only knew a decade ago. But I'm a different person from that 18-year-old girl who held on to everything I could because I could. The magnets weren't serving me, and even though I loved the memories of the places I went, I didn't actually love the overbusy, cluttered look they imposed on my fridge day after day, which seemed to become more and more stark every time we moved house. So I donated them, and it honestly felt like a weight off my shoulders. I'm not saying you should get rid of your magnets. Everything has a time and place, and if you love your magnets, then definitely keep them. But there's no denying there can be some difficult emotions that come up when reflecting on souvenirs like magnets, and all the different shapes, fonts, colors, textures, cartoons, words, and busyness of magnets on a fridge does make it look busy. So if you are looking for a way to make your kitchen feel a little calmer and uncluttered, if your magnets have kind of blended into the background and you barely notice them every day, perhaps have a think about if you want to keep every single one, or if you want to keep just your favorites. Because remember, clutter is anything that you don't love, need, or use.
Next up, an easier one than sentimental magnets. It's laundry. It's just a fact that piles of laundry make a house look and feel cluttered. There's not too much to say about this one, except if you want your home to feel instantly less cluttered or busy, pick up your laundry and it will make a world of difference to the feel of a room. Like all good millennials, Jess and I actually hate folding laundry, so sometimes it does take us a while to get around to it. So we actually find it's helpful to grab it off the clothesline when it's dry, and if we're not ready to commit our precious TV time to folding it and putting it away, we actually just put it in the laundry basket, put it in our wardrobe and shut the door. It's in our spare room, so we have ample room in the closet, and walk away to batch our laundry tasks later. So it's a good hack we found for delaying folding laundry days and keeping it out of sight so our room feels neat and not cluttered.
Next, as number 10 on our list for things that might be making your home feel cluttered, you might have too much on your nightstand. Your bedroom should be your oasis. Having stuff piled up on your nightstand can overwhelm the space and make it feel messy. It's something I think a lot of people struggle with because perhaps they have limited space and want to have everything within arm's reach. But having a pile of beauty and self-care items, mugs and brushes, bobby pins and lip balm, things of all different shapes, sizes and colors and varying uses, well, it can make the limited space where you rest your head every night feel overcluttered. If you're staring at your stuff right before you turn off the lamp and fall asleep, and if it's the first thing you see when you wake up in the morning, then it might be a good idea to reflect on whether you actually need everything there. Perhaps some things can actually live in your bathroom, and you could complete some of your nighttime routine with certain products there instead. It might even mean you're more likely to actually do it right out of the shower instead of laying down in bed, glancing at your moisturizer across your nightstand and thinking, I'll just moisturize tomorrow. So clear what you can. Aiming for clear counters is best if you want uncluttered space, especially in a restful place like the bedroom.
Next, as number 11 on our list, overflowing cabinets and shelves can make a room feel cluttered. When things are spilling out because there's simply not enough space, or more accurately, there's too much stuff, it will look and feel cluttered. So try to downsize where you can. Only keep the favorites of the favorites. Toss duplicates, and if you don't need them, try to break away from the just in case mentality, which makes you hold on to things even when the negatives of keeping them outweigh the positives. Declutter your overflowing cabinets and shelves, and your room will feel like an entirely new space.
Number 12, as things that can make your space look a little more cluttered than it actually is, packaging and labels. We've probably all seen those viral videos of pantry clean out time lapses. They have a big impact on how the pantry feels, and in huge part because so much of the packaging has been removed. Things have been simplified and stripped back. It's easier to see the foods you do have and when things are running low. So there's that practicality aspect to removing labels where you can, and popping things in things like glass jars with a uniform, neat label. Removing packaging and labels where possible can have a huge impact on how uncluttered a space looks. Loud, in-your-face marketing with brands plastered all across items in your house can add to visual clutter. In saying that, there are some things that would be annoying or not practical to take out of their original packaging. So we're definitely not suggesting you remove everything that happens to have excess packaging or labels, but there are still many items where you can easily remove the labels and it makes a big difference. And a lot of the time it can actually prompt you to save money, because buying things in their refill containers, like hand soap for example, are actually better for your wallet and the environment because it costs more to keep buying individual hand soap pumps all the time. It's better to buy a nice soap dispenser, and by nice I mean ours was under $10, and just buy the refill containers to top your soap up. This was a habit I started when I was a uni student because I started to notice the money I was spending on buying individual soap containers was kind of ridiculous, and it was awful for the environment. So it's a win-win-win. It saves you money, reduces your impact on the earth, and looks far more uncluttered. So opt for less packaging where you can, get savvy with reusing glass jars, and you'll be on your way to a more cohesive, less cluttered household in no time.
Next up, as number 13, empty boxes have a way of cluttering up a home. I think this is something a lot of people struggle with. Given the rise of internet shopping and the ease at which we can return something if needed, we just need the box it came in and things can be sent back. But there's always a return date window, and a lot of the time we just keep accumulating boxes until they fall on your head as you open the cupboard door. The great thing is, these can be some of the easiest wins you have when decluttering. Hunt around and find any empty boxes you no longer need and put them in the recycling. It will instantly make your home feel lighter and less cluttered.
Next up on our list of things that can make your home look or feel cluttered, magazines. Magazines are plastered with ads, and a lot of the time crazy colors and fonts are perfectly primed to capture your attention. So if you see them in the store, you buy them. But when you do bring them home, they will stick out. That's their very design. They snag your attention. There's nothing wrong with reading magazines, but we'd suggest not leaving them laying around your home if you want it to look less cluttered and more peaceful. So relax with your cup of tea and enjoy reading your magazine if that's what you enjoy doing, but try to be mindful of its lasting effect if it overstays its welcome in your home.
Next, as number 15 on our list, toys left out definitely have a way of making a home look a little more cluttered than they might actually be. Our doggo Addie loves her toys, even more than she loves food. So toys out are actually a constant in our own home, but we limit how many are out at any one time. It's great setting mini boundaries like this within your own home. What what works well for you and your household, because everyone's lives are different. For us, Addie wanders from room to room with her soft toys, and it brings her happiness, and we'd never dream of not having her toys around. But we make sure there's only a few and they're easily tidied. It's especially important if guest comes over because she drops her toys wherever she feels like it, and they can become tripping hazards. So making sure we can pick them up in a pinch is important. So limiting her toys out to a select special few at a time really helps with this. She seems to appreciate them even more when there's a few that she can play with instead of having an excessive amount. The same can be said of kids too. Have too many toys and overabundance, and they'll actually start to lose interest because everything is capturing their attention. Imagination should thrive during play, and being over encumbered with stuff doesn't help. So if you want your place to feel a little less cluttered and a lot more peaceful, try limiting the number of toys left out.
Second to last on our list, too much furniture can make your home feel cluttered. Having too much furniture has a way of crowding a room and making it feel like it's not well thought out. Again, your too much varies from someone else's too much. So only you'll know what too much actually looks like to you in your own home. So start by looking around and asking yourself, do I actually use this piece of furniture? Or does it just sit there? If it doesn't get used maybe 90% of the year, then ask yourself, do I love it? A piece of furniture can definitely be there to just look at and appreciate for its beauty. But if you find that you don't actually love it for its beauty, and if you don't actually use it, the final question to ask yourself is, do I need it? If you've answered no to all three questions, then it might be clutter. Because remember that clutter is anything that you don't love, need, or use. It's good to be mindful of the pieces we keep in our homes, and it's okay to outgrow certain things. It's okay to let things go if you've just been holding onto it out of obligation or habit, especially if you become aware that a certain piece might be far more in the clutter camp than you thought. So if you're keen on making your space look and feel more peaceful and less cluttered, try taking a fresh view of your furniture and see if there's anything you could let go. It might even free up extra space, extra money, or extra mindfulness that you didn't even anticipate would follow.
The final item on our list of the things you might have in your house that are making it look and feel cluttered is shoes in the hallway. Shoes piled up in the hallway or entryway or whatever area you might have where shoes gather can instantly make a home look cluttered. The good thing is it's a very easy fix. Shoes can easily be put away and out of sight in a wardrobe, in a locker, or even in a dedicated shoe cabinet like ours. Shoes bring in the germs and grime of the outside in, and their laces noodle out and cause entryways to look messier and more cluttered than they are. So a very easy fix is to put them away out of eyesight, and your space will instantly be transformed into something more peaceful, welcoming, and uncluttered than before. So try finding a spot for your shoes. It will make a big difference if you're after that light and breezy, uncluttered look for your home.
Again, decluttering is personal, and certainly we're not telling you or anyone to do anything. These are just some common things we have found over the years that make our home feel cluttered. We hope this list serves as a bit of inspiration if you are feeling like your home is feeling cluttered or overwhelming. We hope it helps and sparks a thought or idea about how your space could feel perfectly homey, simplified, and uncluttered for you.
If you enjoyed this, make sure to hit subscribe and join our wonderful group of aspiring cozy minimalists. And until next time, bye.
I can't say it. That's not, how do you say oasis? Your bedroom should be your...
Oh, get the AI like text. Oasis.
I'll think we're AI. Your bedroom should be your oasis. Yes, I said it. You missed my hair toss. No, well, future editing Josh saw the whole thing.
That's a little cheesy nugget for me.
Ooh, cheesy nuggets.